The Boys Season 5 Episode 5 does not feel like one story moving forward. It feels like 5 different people standing on the edge of collapse at the exact same time, and that is what makes this episode so dangerous. Because while everyone is chasing power, faith, money, or survival, the show is quietly setting up betrayals that could change the rest of the season. Hey, what's up everyone? Come back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, this episode is structured in a really unusual way for The Boys, because instead of feeling like one straight line, it jumps between several major characters and lets each of them carry a different part of the larger story. And in my opinion, that actually works in the episode's favor, because it shows just how fractured this world has become. Everybody is moving with their own agenda, but all of those agendas are about to crash into each other. The place I want to start is Firecracker, because I think she is one of the most important characters in this entire episode. On the surface, she's helping build Homelander's new religion. She's front and center in the push to transform him into political symbol, into something even bigger. Not just a leader, not just a prophet, but a full replacement for faith itself. The campaign is no longer subtle.
They are not dressing him up as a patriotic icon only. They're trying to fuse him directly with the image of America, and then slowly merge that image into the idea of divinity. That matters because Homelander is already impatient with the process. He does not want to be eased in as a spiritual figure. He wants the title immediately. He wants to skip straight to godhood. But Firecracker and Sister Sage both understand something he refuses to accept. If you move too quickly, people panic. If you rewrite belief overnight, you do not get worship, you get unrest. And honestly, I think that tension is one of the smartest parts of the episode. Homelander wants total submission right now, but the people around him know that propaganda works best when it feels gradual. Firecracker is especially interesting here, because unlike Sage, she is not just managing strategy, she is internally breaking. This is not just politics for her, it is personal. The episode makes it clear that faith was a core part of who she was long before Homelander came along. So watching her slowly trade that belief in for service to a living monster is the real tragedy of her arc.
In my opinion, the key symbol in her storyline is not any speech or strategy meeting. It is the small physical object tied to her childhood faith. Once she lets go of that, she is not simply changing sides, she is crossing a line she cannot uncross. That is why I think her ending feels inevitable. This episode does not just show her helping Homelander, it shows her condemning herself. Then there's Sister Sage, whose role in all of this is easy to miss if you only focus on the surface. Sage is not emotionally invested the way Firecracker is. She's looking at the system like an engineer. She knows a full religious conversion campaign needs structure, messaging, timing, escalation, social pressure. She is not trying to prove Homelander is divine because she believes it. She is trying to manage the reaction long enough for the machine to lock into place. That is what makes her so dangerous. Firecracker is vulnerable because she still feels things. Sage is dangerous because she can see the whole board.
Now, while all of that is happening at the top level of Vought, we also get one of the strangest pairings in the episode with Deep and Black Noir. And this side of the story feels ridiculous at first, but there is actually something deeper going on. Deep's insecurity is eating him alive. He cannot just let Noir have his own lane. He has to chase it, spy on it, contaminate it. That tells you everything you need to know about where Deep is mentally. He is still desperate for validation and still too unstable to watch someone else get attention. And that connects really well to the setting where part of this story unfolds, because Mr. Marathon's world is pure old Vought excess. It is nostalgia packaged as status. A home filled with artifacts from another era of branding, military propaganda, and superhero celebrity. The visuals matter here because they show how long this machine has been running. Homelander may be taking things to a new level, but the roots of this rot have been in the system for decades. That is also why the old memorabilia feels important. These relics are not just cool references. They are reminders that Vought has always been rewriting history and dressing power up as heroism. This current Homelander religion is just the latest and most extreme version of that same strategy.
Now, shifting over to the bigger plot, the real engine of the episode is still the search for V1. That race is what ties Butcher's side and Homelander's side together. Everyone understands what is at stake now. Whoever gets control of V1 controls the next phase of the war. And I think the episode is very deliberately positioning Bombsite as the next key target. What makes this interesting is that the hunt is no longer just about getting there first. It is also about who can survive the fallout of finding him. Because by this point, V1 is not simply a MacGuffin. It has become a symbol of immortality, power, and leverage. Homelander wants it because he cannot tolerate the idea of being mortal. Butcher wants control of it because he knows the wrong hands would turn it into a nightmare. And everyone around them is being forced to choose sides, whether they are ready or not. Personally, I think the next stage of this story is going to get ugly fast, because the longer Homelander chases immortality, the more unstable he becomes. The more Butcher chases a solution, the more willing he becomes to sacrifice whatever is left of himself. And somewhere in the middle of that, you have everyone else trying not to get crushed. The trailer also hints at where some of this is heading next, and one moment really stood out to me. There is a brief image that suggests a major confrontation could be coming at a church.
If that is where the show is going, then I think it makes perfect thematic sense. A season built around false worship needs to eventually turn that worship site into a battlefield. And if Starlight is part of that clash, then all the better, because she represents one of the few characters still capable of challenging this twisted version of belief without becoming consumed by it. We also get hints that the Deep may be dealing with the aftermath of something ugly involving sea life again. And if that turns into another one of his pathetic guilt spirals, I would not be surprised. The show loves using him as a joke, but there is always something dark under the joke. His self-loathing and delusion are still a huge part of who he is. So, when I step back and look at this episode as a whole, here is what I think it is really doing. It is showing us that faith, power, and identity are all being weaponized at the same time. Firecracker is losing herself trying to help create a god she does not truly believe in. Sister Sage is building the framework for a new social order. Deep is spiraling in his usual insecure chaos, and the race for V1 is pushing everyone toward a collision that feels closer than ever.
In my opinion, this is one of those episodes that may seem a little all over the place at first, but actually does a lot of heavy lifting for the rest of the season. It expands the ideology behind Homelander's rise, it deepens Firecracker's tragedy, and it sharpens the importance of the V1 chase, without needing one giant battle to do it. But anyway, that is my breakdown of The Boys Season 5, Episode 5, and what I think this episode is really setting up moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Firecracker was doomed the moment she chose Homelander over her faith? Or is there still a twist coming in her story? I will catch you in the next one.